How do you spell potato?
Find out next on Junk Food.
Aw, yeah! Welcome to Junk Food, the podcast about junk food, where we rate and review mystery treats to determine which one will be the undisputed champion of snacks. I'm your host, Mike. Alongside me, as always, Alyssa.
Hello.
Hello, Liz. What's up?
So, Dad?
Yeah.
Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom?
That's quite a setup. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Oh, I know, but I'll let you say it.
Dad.
That was an easy one.
What do you mean?
The P is silent.
Stop! Okay.
Come on, that's a good one. I like that one.
Why can't you trust the king of the jungle? Don't think about it. Just say, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because he's always lying.
Yeah. Because he's always lying. I like the pterodactyl one better, though.
Well, yeah, if you didn't, know it, though.
Well, I didn't know it until you said it. That was a pretty good one. I think part of what makes a good dad joke is the inevitability of the punchline, where it's the only thing that it can possibly be, and it still kind of sneak attacks you.
Okay.
I love it. Hey, and that was a dad joke, a joke you tell to your dad. If you'd like to submit a dad joke for Alyssa to tell me on the show, you can send it in to us via Twitter at JunkFeudPod or via email to junkfeudpod@gmail.com. Liz.
Yeah.
Welcome back once again to the world's yeetest podcast.
Welcome back, baby.
Liz, guess what today is?
What is it?
It's our St. Patrick's Day episode.
Y'all.
Do you know what that is?
St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
It's a holiday?
It is, in fact, a holiday. What kind of holiday, do you know?
Irish holiday?
It is definitely associated with the Irish. It's a religious feast day list. Do you know why St. Patrick's Day is associated with the Irish?
No.
Because
Potatoes.
Spoiler alert, we're going to get to that. You know that the Irish are associated with potatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
I thought
Irish...
Scottish.
What's that?
I thought potatoes were like a Scottish thing.
You thought potatoes were Scottish?
Yeah.
Potatoes are actually Peruvian. Did you know that?
What are Scottish things?
Haggis, kilts, bagpipes.
Okay.
Do you know what any of those things are?
No.
No. You know what bagpipes are?
No.
The musical instrument?
Oh, like the.
You are miming a harmonica, so it's not exactly that.
No, but it's like 1, 2, 3.
Yes, you got it,
progressively
dude.
get shorter and you blow on them like a flute.
Bagpipes, that's right. I was, Liz, one time I was in Portland, Maine, in the downtown near a restaurant called Duck Fat, which is really good. And in the apartment behind the restaurant, there was a parking lot. It was late at night. I was coming back to the hotel after dinner, and there was a girl in the parking lot marching around at twilight practicing her bagpipes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Just K, you know?
Okay, you know?
So you are asking me why the Irish are associated with St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
Because St. Patrick was the patron saint of Ireland, Alyssa.
Oh.
Yeah, he was like their number one dude. And you know St. Patrick's Day, everybody wears green, has a good time.
If you don't wear green, you get pinched.
That's right. If you wear orange, specifically, you get pinched.
That's weird.
Yeah. What else do you know about St. Patrick and St. Patrick's Day?
Shamrocks.
Shamrocks, that's right. Do you know why the shamrock is the symbol of St. Patrick and St. Patrick's Day?
Isn't it like lucky or something?
Well, it's definitely lucky. And in fact, next year on St. Patrick's Day, for our St. Patrick's Day episode, we're going to talk a lot about Lucky.
Charms.
Lucky Charms, Lucky the Leprechaun, and the Lucky Shamrock. But the shamrock, with its 3 leaves, was used by St. Patrick when he was converting the pagans and the Druids in Ireland to Christianity to illustrate the concept of the Holy Trinity list. Trinity meaning 3, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, so the church gave St. Patrick a feast day in the middle of Lent. It was meant to offer a respite from the sacrifices that people were making for the Lenten season. Liz, we talked a lot about that during the King Cake show.
Yeah.
About Carnival and Mardi Gras and Lenten sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of snacks that are related to religion, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of snacks we've talked about on this show in the past related to the conditions that arose after World War II. Lots of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of turn-of-the-century candy making. That's been a theme here. Yeah, that's going to be a theme quite a bit more on this show, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Liz, do you know that we have Irish roots?
No.
No, you didn't know that. Of course not. Because that's we're not very Irish, particularly.
Because I'm like 79% Italian.
You're yeah, and maybe like 7 or 8% Irish. Liz, according to
No, I'm like what was it, like 3% French or something like
Three,
that?
you are 3% French.
It was something like that, Mom said.
Well, you definitely get all that 3% from your mother then, because it's not from me.
Yeah.
Can I tell you that I am about 15% British and Irish, according to 23andMe, mostly Irish from County Cork.
Do you know what else I am other than Italian?
Adorable. How about that?
No,
No. What were you what were you thinking?
I don't know. I'm just asking you.
Well, I don't know for sure, but we can look at your mom's DNA test and my DNA test, and we can kind of smush those together and figure it out, don't you think?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what you do if you're looking at a family tree or doing family history and heritage. My Irish comes from my maternal grandfather's side of the family. If you knew my grandpa, you would know that he was Irish. Listen, this is a funny story about grandpa. My grandpa, not your grandpa. When he worked for the DuPont Chemical Company, he had a little employee badge that they gave him that he wore. And there's a picture of him when he was a young man, which is interesting because he looks exactly like my cousin Bradley does now, which is really funny. Anyway, the employee badge, it says like his height and weight and eye color. And then a description of his complexion, which they said was ruddy.
What is that?
Ruddy, like a little bit reddish.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a characteristic of some of the Irish folk. Ruddy complexion. Yeah, I was always amused by that. Liz, most of what we celebrate today for St. Patrick's Day is based on the traditions of the Irish diaspora and people like my grandpa.
Oh.
Yeah, and there are a lot of food traditions, in fact. Your mom, every Your mom.
Your mom.
I did it. Your mom, every St. Patrick's Day, makes corned beef and cabbage for us.
Yeah, not my favorite.
Not your favorite, I know. It's, there are some interesting things about Irish cuisine, corned beef and cabbage being one of them, and I can understand why that wouldn't be your favorite. And we always make way too much of it, and we have to eat leftover cabbage for like days on end.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky Charms, which we talked about earlier.
So good.
Not really a tradition for St. Patrick's Day, especially not for people who aren't like children or like to eat breakfast cereal for most meals.
That's what you would do.
I definitely would. Lucky Charms is going to be a tradition for me this year because I'm squirreling away 2 different boxes of it that I'm going to have for St. Patrick's Day. One of them, the limited edition green shamrock box list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Also, we've talked about this in the past, green beer.
Green beer?
Yeah, green beer, beer in general was not
Pickle
really.
beer.
It does look like. Do you know there's a drink called a pickleback?
Yeah.
You do? Why do you know that there's a drink called a pickleback?
Because of you.
You know what? I don't think we've ever talked about this. I do know some folks that go down to Aberdeen, Maryland and go to a very specific bar and drink picklebacks all night.
Pickleback.
Yeah, it's a fun word to say. The drink is not particularly good. Green beer is really not good either. It's just beer with green food coloring in it. And it's not even really an Irish tradition. And it's not really even associated with St. Patrick's Day, other than the fact that in like the 1980s, Budweiser started keying some seasonal marketing around it. And they sort of backed their way into that as a tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irish pubs, Liz, used to be closed on St. Patrick's Day prior to like the 1980s. It wasn't even a really big beer holiday like it is now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Liz, if you wanted to see what a big beer holiday it is, have you ever been around Parade Day in Morristown, New Jersey?
No.
So St. Patrick's Day parades are a really big deal. The first New York City St. Patrick's Day parade was all the way back in all the way back in 1762.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Liz, what was going on in 1762?
No idea.
No idea here either. Like getting ready for independence, I guess, for the United States of America.
Yeah.
So anyway, the New York City parade, obviously the big one. The Morristown parade, a suburb, sort of, in a way, of New York City, is just a total debacle, Alyssa. Parade day.
A debacle?
Yeah, people that live in Morristown dread parade day for sure. It is definitely a day that someone is going to be peeing in your front yard.
Ew.
Yeah, absolutely gross. Liz, there's some criticism that's associated with all of this St. Patrick's Day activity as well.
Like what?
Did you know that there are accusations that people who aren't actually Irish or who are barely Irish like us are called plastic paddies on St. Patrick's Day?
Oh.
A paddy being like a derogatory term for an Irishman. Yeah. And plastic like a pretender to Irish heritage.
Okay.
Yeah. It's usually used to describe people who see that holiday as an excuse to have too much to drink or dress like leprechauns, which is a derogatory stereotype.
I want to dress like a leprechaun.
Way to completely miss the point of that. Like, it's just an excuse to have a good time, I think. This is traditionally a pretty boring part of the year. Everybody's just sitting around waiting for the weather to get warm and for baseball to start, I think.
Yeah, like the Phillies.
That's right. Go Phils. Liz, you know what? By the time this show airs, we will be seeing like almost live real Phillies baseball. The starters will be getting some reps in spring training.
Yay!
That'll be exciting.
Yes.
Your grandfather, Poppy, is down at spring training right now, as a matter of fact.
He is?
Yeah, he is. He's hanging out in Florida. He's going to the Phillies spring training games.
Oh, yeah. He said he was going to get me a shirt.
Yeah, that's the life. I can't wait to be retired. I know. Call me back never, right?
Yeah, you're probably never going to get retired.
Thanks, bud.
What?
I mean, you're right, yeah.
Like,
Liz,
not for another, 40 years or something.
40
like that.
years? How old do you think I am? Don't answer that. Liz, St. Patrick's Day, where I grew up as a child in a small town, was kind of a fun thing for us. Because, like I said, there wasn't much going on after Valentine's Day, between Valentine's Day and the end of school, really. When I was a kid in the 4th grade, I did a project on Irish heritage, which, like we said before, my grandfather, he was very proud of me. Kiss me, I'm Irish. That was a big deal when we were in grade school because, kissing was yucky.
Yeah.
But people would wear Kiss Me, I'm Irish buttons or shirts on St. Patrick's Day, and it was always like a miniature scandal.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that being a very confusing time for me as a child.
Well, yeah.
But it was fun to wear green. One year, I think this was 6th grade. So that's, oh man, your age. Yeah. I got in a lot of trouble by grandma because we all took those scented markers. You know those markers that smell like different fruits or candies?
Yeah.
We took the green ones on St. Patrick's Day and we colored all of our fingernails and most of the skin on our arms and our hands in with the green apple scented markers.
Oh.
It didn't really wash off very easily.
I understand.
I got in a lot of trouble for that.
Bet you did.
You know what we didn't get in trouble for? This was the biggest deal for St. Patrick's Day when I was a kid.
What?
Our teachers would give us candy in class.
Our teachers do that.
Yeah. We got a very specific kind of candy on St. Patrick's Day list. It's
What
not
was it?
like now, like you said, where your teachers give you candy. You're encouraged to have water bottles and snacks to stay hydrated and satiated throughout the day. When I was a kid, you got in trouble if you ate in class. If you had a stick of chewing gum, you had to hide it or you would get detention or sent to the principal's office.
Oh, that's like this one math teacher in House 2.
House 2. Which house is House 2? Is that Ravenclaw?
No.
Just House 2.
Yeah, they're the not as good teachers. Houses.
Uh-oh. Shots fired at House 2, I think.
But anyway, the math teacher, he if he catches people chewing gum, they get lunch detention.
Lunch detention. Unbelievable.
So instead of having detention, at lunch you have to sit on the bleachers in front of the cafeteria, and then you just have to sit there and eat your lunch, and you can't sit with your friends.
Well, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I know. Liz.
What?
What I was saying is that we had teachers that would let us eat snacks on St. Patrick's Day. Specifically, a very particular snack.
I think I know what this is going to be.
Liz, it reminds me of this week's snack because it is this week's snack.
Up next on Junk Food.
Up next on Junk Food, it's Irish potatoes.
Irish P. I actually don't know how to spell potatoes.
Liz, you do know how to spell potatoes because you're looking at the word on the screen in your notes right now.
But you spelled it differently up here.
Uh-huh. Oh boy, we're going to get to that. Liz, what do you know about Irish potatoes? Irish potato candy.
Well, I know that they're not real potatoes.
Yeah, that's right. They are neither Irish nor potatoes, as a matter of fact, Liz.
So they're it's like a coconut cream covered in cinnamon.
That's right. That's exactly right. And
that's it, folks. Up next on Junk Food.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, I want to go on Jimmy Fallon.
You'd be good on Jimmy Fallon, I think. If you could remember to actually pay attention and speak into the microphone. That will not do it. Liz, they're rolled in cinnamon so that when you look at them, they have the appearance of being a small, dirt-covered potato. That's right. Irish potatoes are not, in fact, Irish. Like we said, they are a uniquely American invention, not an Irish one. The Irish, in fact, did not use cinnamon coatings for confections around the probable time of the invention of the Irish potato. This was strictly an American taste and technique. And that's according to an Irish historian named Regina Sexton, who's at the University of Cork.
Slay Regina.
In County Cork, Ireland, where my family comes from, or at least a part of it.
Regina George.
Not Regina George.
Is the mean girl.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Alyssa.
What's fetch?
It's from the movie you were just talking about.
Oh. So, fetch.
Yeah, there you go. Liz.
What?
No one quite knows who Irish potatoes were invented by or exactly when, but there are claims that they originated in the Philadelphia region in the late 19th or early 20th century.
I'm going to give a name. Ready?
Okay, let's hear it.
His name is going to be Tarquito Dorpedo.
Tarquito Dorpedo.
Yes.
I'm going to say Tarquito Dorpedo is not an Irish immigrant to the United States of America in the late 19th or early 20th century.
Torquedo Dorpedo.
Torquedo Dorpedo.
Yes.
Could be an Armenian, perhaps. There's no way to tell, really.
Or like little Irish folk.
Probably not a little Irish folk list, but Irish potatoes are generally credited to the large Irish population of Philadelphia. List. We had previously talked about the large ethnic Italian population in Philadelphia and some of its food traditions. List. Remember we said that the Italian Americans in Philadelphia were responsible for the invention of the expression yo?
Yo.
Yeah, like, yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man?
Yo, hand me them Irish potato, Johns.
John.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good.
January.
Liz, there's a guy named Dave Lamparelli. He founded and he's also an Italian, which is interesting about this. He founded the Philadelphia confectioner, candy maker Orion's, which is the largest producer today of Irish potato candy.
The biggest sleigh of the month?
Yeah. And he suggests, Liz, that candy makers might have seen the success of holiday-based treats and offered something to fill in the lull between Valentine's Day and Easter.
The lull.
The lull. It was a way to capitalize on the Irish holiday, create a treat to fit the theme. I think, Liz, there is some evidence that there were Irish immigrants in the Philadelphia region that were making Irish potato candy as early as the late 1800s. There's a guy named Chef Walter Stabe. He runs the City Tavern in Philadelphia. It's a replica of a restaurant that was operating as early as 1773. He says that he has written evidence that Irish indentured servants in the city were making the candy in the City Tavern restaurant kitchen in the 1800s.
Whoa.
Okay. Do you know why there was such an influx of Irish immigrants to Philadelphia in the 1800s, Alyssa?
No.
Okay, it's time for some history. It was because of this thing that was called the Great Famine, or the Irish Potato Famine, which occurred from 1845 to 1852.
18? That was so long ago.
Yeah, it absolutely was. But you know what?
Dad.
Not even really that long ago.
Dad.
Yeah, bud.
What happened in 1845?
We're going to get to it.
No. Go now.
What happened? I don't know exactly what happened in 1845, to tell you the truth. Probably a lot of important stuff.
What happened in the year 2000?
In the year 2000?
Mm-hmm.
The Y2K bug turned out to be a flop.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for a future episode of Junk Feud wherein we discuss with a small child the Y2K bug and the resultant panic, and actually the fact that it was a good way for a lot of people to come together and solve a problem without the general public being aware or knowledgeable about it. Oh, yeah. But the general public list was definitely aware and knowledgeable of the Great Irish Potato Famine. Lots and lots of people left Ireland to go to the U.S. looking for a more stable future. Liz, if you know anything about the history of Irish immigration to the United States, you know that they were not particularly welcomed when they came here.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, they were discriminated against, but they persevered as a people. And now, did you know there are more Irish Americans than there are Irish in Ireland, Liz?
Do people, Irish people, live in Israel?
Irish people live all over the world. There is a very large Irish diaspora.
No, but are there a lot of Irish people in Israel?
There are some Irish people in Israel. There are more Israeli people in Israel, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Not the same country. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Liz,
what?
There are 7 times as many Irish Americans as there are Irish in Ireland, according to the Washington Post.
Whoa.
That's a lot. Did you know, well, you did know this because we talked about it earlier. Potatoes aren't actually Irish, Liz.
Yes.
Right. They're South American, indigenous to the Andes Mountains in Peru. They were first brought to Europe.
I know the capital of Peru.
What's the capital of Peru, dear?
Lima.
Lima, very good. I always remembered Lima because it was like a lima bean.
That's exactly how I remember it.
Very good. Not a potato, though.
Yeah.
Potatoes came to Europe in the 1500s from Peru. The Irish bought into the culture of the potato 200-ish years later. It was around 1724-ish, I think, when potatoes became very popular in Ireland. And that was mostly because Ireland was, for the most part, a working class country. And if you had to plant a lot of food to feed a lot of people, potatoes were 2 to 3 times as nutrient dense as other grains like wheat. So if you needed to plant a lot of food to feed a lot of people that couldn't afford a lot of food, you planted potatoes because that was where you got the most bang from your buck. So working class people, specifically lots of folks in Ireland, became very, very dependent on the potato as like the main source of all of their calories.
Whoa.
Guess what happened in 1845?
What?
There was this thing called a water mold that infected potato crops. It was sort of like a fungus, and it caused this thing called a blight. Do you know what a blight is?
I've heard that name before.
Yeah, it's where a lot of food rots really quickly and you can't eat it.
Oh.
And a whole lot of the potatoes that they had planted for their sustenance that year rotted due to the blight. And that meant a lot of people starved, Liz.
Wow.
Like more than 1 million people died of starvation.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. And then more than 1 million more had to just get up and leave the country.
Where'd they go?
They went all over the world, and a lot of them ended up in the Philadelphia region, which is why there was a large Irish immigrant population in the mid-1800s in
Did
Philadelphia.
any of them go to Canada?
A lot of them also went to Canada.
Did they try like the milk in the bags?
No, not in the 1800s. There was no milk in plastic bags in the 1800s because there was no plastic in the 1800s.
Or like the peach juice?
I don't know if they tried the peach juice. They definitely didn't try the milk in the bags. Is that what you know about Canadian culture?
Yeah.
Milk in
And
bags.
maple syrup.
And maple syrup, of course. I watched
And
it.
they're like they're so smiley.
Very happy, the Canadians as a people, yes. Very pleasant. You know
I want
who's
to live in an apartment down there.
down there? How about try up there?
Or like a condo.
Actually, I guess it really doesn't matter.
Or
You'd like a condo in Canada somewhere? Well, good luck because housing prices in Canada are insane right now.
Why?
There are a lot of structural reasons why.
Well, good thing I have another like 10. No, like 7 years.
7 years? You're moving out in 7 years?
Wait, how old will I be?
You tell me.
Oh, about like 10 years.
Ah.
10, 11.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Because I want to go to college. I want to go to a big college.
Liz, you want to go to a big college in Hawaii?
Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah.
That would be fun. I would come to visit if you went to college in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah, maybe not if you went to college in Canada, though.
Why?
Maybe like Toronto or Montreal. Or maybe
Oh.
Saskatoon. I would go see Saskatoon.
Saskatoon.
Yeah, so that's fun to say, isn't it? Saskatoon.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's move on.
Thank you.
Segment Switcher-upper.
Thank goodness. Liz,
What?
let's try to figure out when Irish potatoes were invented. We're going to try to nail down like maybe a year.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got sort of a soft upper bound of the late 1800s based on the historical records from the City Tavern. So we know
Yes.
probably realistically it was earlier than that, but by name it could be later. Okay. One of the earliest American candy making cookbooks is called Notes on American Confectionery, Liz.
Oh.
It was written by a guy named Charles C. Houling in 1891. Now,
Charles C. Houling.
yeah, old Charlie. It doesn't have a recipe for Irish potatoes by name, but it does have one for coconut cream as a filling for chocolates, which you already told us is what Irish potatoes are.
Yes.
So we know by 1891, it was at least possible to make coconut cream confections. Okay, there are some other candy cookbooks from the early 1900s that contain recipes for coconut drops, which are similar, so we're on the right track. But, Liz, in 1911, in Jake Friedman's Common Sense Candy Teacher, we get a recipe for cream potatoes. Do you know what those are?
Coconut flavored butter cream dipped in cinnamon with pignoli nuts for eyes.
Very good. That's right. So aside from the name, which is close, cream potatoes rather than Irish potatoes, this is the recipe for Irish potatoes, Liz. So it's at least as early as 1891, possibly earlier, no later than 1911 to be sure, but let's just say for the sake of this show and for some brevity that it's 1891.
Whoa.
Got it?
Yes.
Liz, what else was going on in 1891?
The Wrigley Company.
Not the Wrinkly Company. The Wrigley Company, which makes chewing gum, founded in
Oh.
Chicago.
Oh.
Although if you chew the gum long enough, it'll get wrinkly.
Sherlock Holmes, the famous detective guy, debuted in a story in the Stranded magazine in London.
Yeah, the Strand magazine in London was the first appearance of Sherlock Holmes. Your grandpa is a big fan of Sherlock Holmes, the famous sleuth. He had a design company that was named after Sherlock Holmes' famous London address. Did you know that?
No.
No, you didn't. I still have some business cards from that.
I know he has like a plaque near a toy store in Florida.
That's right. That's right. Grandpa has a plaque near a toy store in Florida. Very good.
Thomas Edison kinetoscope.
Kinetoscope.
Kinetoscope was
Yeah, the
shown
kinetoscope.
to the public for the first time in his lab right here in New Jersey.
Yeah. Do you know what a kinetoscope is, Liz?
telescope?
No, that's a good guess based on the name.
Is it a kinetic sand telescope?
It's not a kinetic sand telescope. It was
Or
like
a
an.
Kinder bar?
It's definitely not a Kinder bar, which you had today, didn't you? You had a Kinder Bueno bar.
Kinder Bueno.
How was that? It looked pretty good.
So good.
I
But
can't
guess
have
what?
that.
You can't have
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Ha ha ha.
Liz, a kinetoscope is sort of like an early movie projector.
Oh, it says it right there.
Yeah, it says it in the notes that you're looking at. Edison had a competitor. His name was Nikola Tesla. You know that name, right?
Is that the guy that Tesla?
It's the guy that the company's named after, sure.
Oh.
Anyway, in 1891, Tesla became an American citizen.
Yes.
The Drexel University in Philadelphia, which we've been talking about, was inaugurated, and also lists the Swiss Army knife was invented.
What is that?
Swiss Army knife is a small pocket knife that has lots of attachments to it.
Oh.
Yeah. And also Herman Melville
I have
died.
one of those.
You do. I gave it to you. I got it from a Swiss guy.
Oh. Swiss guy.
Liz, Herman Melville died in 1891. Do you know who he was? You're sad about it, but you don't know who he was. Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick.
Who's that?
Who is Moby Dick?
Yeah.
He's a whale, darling.
A whale.
A white whale.
Whale.
A white whale.
A white whale.
Very good. Liz,
What?
we've been talking a lot about Philadelphia without acknowledging that this is secretly a January episode.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Irish potatoes are a Philadelphia-based treat that we got at Wawa.
The January.
Stealth January. Listen, I struggled with where to put this show in the lineup, in the schedule. It fits perfectly into January list, but Irish potatoes are a seasonal snack. They are very clearly associated with St. Patrick's Day, which is in March. Now, some stores will start putting them out as early as January, but I didn't see any this year, and it was dangerously close to our production cutoff, so I couldn't risk it. You wanted me to wait until next year so that we could do, spoiler alert, we already talked about this, Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Because, listen, let's be honest, Alyssa, you are not expecting to like Irish potatoes, are you?
No.
No, you've had some boo-boo face today.
You too.
Do you want to tell me about it?
I don't like coconut.
I don't like coconut either.
I tried to push this episode back because I don't like coconut.
Yeah, I know. But listen, we have to do this for the people. We have an obligation to rate and review mystery treats.
To determine which one will be the undisputed champion of junk food.
That's right. And it could be today's snack, Irish potatoes, but Lissa.
But we already know it's not gonna.
Oh my goodness. You are you are not coinciding with the spirit of the show right now, are you?
Stop.
Listen, back to Philadelphia. Listen, in the early 20th century, Philadelphia was the greatest candy city in the world. And honestly, I think that explains a bit more about me than I'm comfortable with, given where I was born and where I grew up.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Listen. Liz, at the turn of the century, there were anywhere between 200 and 300 candy companies that were operating in the city. And some of them, like Whitman's, which you might know from Whitman's Sampler, or Shane's, for example, are still in operation today. In fact, Shane's is still making Irish potatoes today as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, the company was founded in 1863 by a guy named Samuel Herring. He sold that company. He was a German. He sold that company to a canned fruit vendor named Edward Shane in 1911. His family had come to Philadelphia after the famine in Ireland. And when Shane took over the business, he added Irish potatoes to the menu for the candy storefront that they had. Today, the Shane company is owned by the same people that own the Franklin Fountain, Alyssa. Have you ever been to the Franklin Fountain?
No, but we're learning about Anne Frank right now.
Okay, not the same person. Not even close, actually. But the Franklin Fountain, named after Benjamin Franklin, in fact, Alyssa.
Benjamin?
Which is a place that I think you would like, is a historical soda shop in the city.
There's a kid in my class named Benjamin, but he goes by Ben. And whenever I say Benjamin, he yells at me.
Is his last name Franklin?
No.
No, then he's not relevant to what we're talking about right now. Liz.
What?
The Shane Company sells about 500 or so orders of Irish potatoes every year.
Potatoes.
Yeah, they make them all by hand from the original 1911 recipe. Although they've tweaked it a little bit over the years, they added Philadelphia cream cheese, Alyssa, to the recipe.
To make it a more Philadelphian?
That's right. They're selling, 500 Irish potatoes per week, not during the entire season, but per week during the height of the season.
Moly.
Now, Orion's, which we talked about earlier, does not use cream cheese because they package theirs for sale over a much wider distribution area. So instead, they use a vanilla buttercream with coconut, That's cut and rolled on a pair of machines that they have in the factory, which are more than 130 years old.
I'd rather the cream cheese.
Well, we're going to try we're going to try the Orions today. We do not have any perishable cream cheese versions, but
No, I love cream cheese.
I do too. There are plenty of recipes online and on YouTube in particular where you can see people making homemade Irish potatoes with cream cheese and coconut.
Oh.
Liz, if you wanted to compare the dozen or so that you could make in a single batch to the production of Orions, guess how many Orions makes in a single Irish potato season?
3 million.
3 million. What a great guess from the notes that are right in front of you.
Oh, sorry. 10 million?
Incorrect. 3 million. You were right the first time.
Oh.
Don't second guess yourself.
That's what I always do, and then I get stuff wrong on my tests.
Liz, Irish potatoes are a quintessentially Philadelphian treat. Have I said that already?
Yes.
95% of all of Orion's sales each year are in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, the Delaware Valley, Liz.
Really?
Yeah, generally speaking, people in New York City, just 2 hours north of Philadelphia, have no idea what Irish potatoes are.
I didn't either. I thought they were just potatoes that you baked.
So I did a little bit of a test at work today, and I asked a handful of people what Irish potatoes were, and most of them looked at me like I was insane, except for the one guy who lives outside Philadelphia who was like, oh yeah, those are good. So the only
What did
holdout,
most people say, though?
they said Irish potatoes, I like a Colcannon potato, I don't know. They didn't know that it was a candy. They had no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very weird. There are very distinct boundaries to the regional treats in this area of the world.
Oh.
Except, Alyssa, if you go to the West Coast, where a San Francisco-based candy company called See's Candies sells what they call St. Patrick's Day potatoes, which are very similar, and in fact, to hold out the lineage of the candy, they may have been a result of a visit to an East Coast candy convention by a former See's executive named Ed Peck about 50 years ago. So Ed Peck probably ventured from San Francisco over to Philadelphia or somewhere else on the East Coast, saw Irish potatoes, and said, I think we could make these and sell them in our store. And in fact, they did. The flavor is still regional, though. This is like quintessentially, like I said, Philadelphian. You can get an Irish potato flavored cookie at the Philadelphia-based cookie chain Insomnia Cookies.
What's that?
Insomnia Cookies is a cookie bakery that is open very, very late at night so that people that are leaving bars at like 2 or 3 in the morning can stop on the way home and get dessert.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a nice way to say it. I think Insomnia cookies are really good. I've had them. Doughboys did an episode. They like them too. There's a store in Philadelphia list called Federal Donuts, which makes fried chicken and donuts. They have some outposts at the sports stadium. You saw them when we went to the Flyers game recently.
Yeah.
They had an Irish potato donut list this year.
Have you ever tried it?
I have not. I did not get down to Federal Donuts in time to try the Irish potato donut.
Boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo, that's right. Liz, when I was a
Boo-hoo
kid,
on you.
we got our Irish potatoes and the ones that the teachers would give us in class from a place called Aunt Charlotte's Candy, which I think is the greatest candy store in the world. They make my favorite version of what might be actually my favorite snack, chocolate-covered pretzels. We have some of those in the fridge
Those
right
are
now.
so good.
Yeah, they are so good. Did you know, Liz, speaking of so good, there are actually other types of potato candies.
There are?
Yeah, it's true. There are these things called Southern potato candies, which are made with mashed potatoes and peanut butter, Liz.
Ew.
You say, ooh, I think that sounds kind of good.
Eh.
They are also sometimes called Irish potato candy, since they use actual potatoes from Ireland, and they're very fascinating, Liz. Here's what you do. You take a potato, and you peel it, and you boil it, and you mash it. Do not stick it in a stew. Did you get that reference?
No, but I know you put potatoes in stew.
Okay. Well, then you mix it up with powdered sugar so that it forms like a paste, like a dough almost. And then you can roll it out flat. And once you roll it flat, you smear it on one side with peanut butter, and then you roll it up like it's a jelly roll. And you can slice it in slices, like almost like sushi, really. And then you dust it with more powdered sugar. It looks really good.
Uh-uh.
Nuh-uh. In Maine, Alyssa, there are potato candies that are called Needhams. Needhams. I've actually had these. They're a bit of a mashup of both types that we've already discussed. These date all the way back to 1872. They are made from mashed potatoes, powdered sugar, and, Liz, coconut.
Don't like coconut.
They're shaped into squares and then they're coated with chocolate. Like I said,
make me go coconuts.
I've had these in Maine. They are not my favorite, but they're interesting at least.
Maine has so much weird foods.
Maine has a lot of stuff that's made out of potatoes in particular, Liz. At one time, it was the largest potato producer in the United States, apparently.
Holy moly.
We were just talking about Federal Donuts, Liz, at a place called Holy Donuts in
Holy
Maine.
donut hole.
Yeah. Holy Donuts in Maine, they make potato
Donuts are
donuts.
very holy.
They are. They have holes in them. Holy Donuts makes potato donuts, Alyssa. And in fact, the first donut chain in the United States was not Dunkin' Donuts. It was not Krispy Kreme. Instead,
It was potato donuts.
yeah, it was a place called Spudnuts in Utah, and they made potato donuts.
Spud nuts.
Spudnuts, that's right.
Can I tell the story of what you did at the ice cream shop?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what this is, but go ahead.
No, but like with the magnets in the ice cream shop in New York City.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't tell that story. I don't want to remember how to bleep things out here. Liz, anyway, all of this is to say that the potato is a very versatile foodstuff.
Oh, very versatile.
That's right. And Alyssa, speaking of versatile, do you know who Dan Quayle is?
No.
We're going to get back to the cold open here. Dan Quayle, Alyssa, was the vice president of the United States of America under George H.W. Bush, who was the 41st president.
How many are there? 47?
We're up to 46 now.
Oh, I was really close.
Yeah, you were very close.
Wait, so what happens? Like, say Biden were to be president again or Trump were to be president again.
Mhm.
Would that be like, would you add double on like a president chart?
If Joe Biden were to be elected again in 2024, he would still be the 46th president. If Donald Trump were to run and be reelected, I think he would become the 47th president.
I want
think
a girl
that's how
to
it
win
works.
this year,
That would be a very interesting proposition, Liz.
but they have to be good.
Yeah, of course. That's the whole thing, right?
Potato.
Well, you're already smarter than most voters, Liz. Anyway, back to Dan Quayle. Dan Quayle, in fact, was a smart guy. He served in the National Guard. He was a lawyer. He later became a senator before becoming vice president. But Dan Quayle sometimes did and said things that make people think that he was a bit of a dingbat.
Dingbat.
Yeah, it was kind of a running joke. I had this book, a novelty book, that I think I got at the B. Dalton bookstore in the mall, if I'm guessing.
Where's Dan Quayle?
Yeah, it was called Where's Dan Quayle? It was done in the style of the Where's Waldo books. The joke was that Dan Quayle was kind of a doofus and he was always wandering off and getting lost.
Oh.
So anyway, part of the reason for that was because in 1992, Dan Quayle was judging a spelling bee in Alyssa, Trenton, right here in New Jersey. The word in the spelling bee was potato.
Mm-hmm.
The speller was a 12-year-old boy. His name was William Figueroa, and he spelled the word potato correctly, Potato. But Dan Quayle said that he was wrong, Liz.
Why?
Potato, Dan Quayle said, was not spelled Potato, but Potatoe. He had added an extra E to the end as if he was going to be spelling the plural potatoes. Yeah,
He's
Dan Quayle
stupid.
didn't know how to... Well, that's what a lot of people said. Now, Dan Quayle claimed that a teacher had given him a flashcard that had spelled the word incorrectly, and he didn't want to show her up or mistrust what the school had provided, so he just read the card verbatim. Later, the 12-year-old boy, William Figueroa, said that he suspected that the rumors were true and that Dan Quayle really was an idiot.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was my favorite time that a 12-year-old insulted an elected official in New Jersey, Liz.
Yeah?
And guess what now it's time for?
Your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of this show, Alyssa reads
It's
the ingredients. Very good.
Yay.
Go ahead. These are the ingredients for, spoiler alert,
Potatoes.
Orion's Irish potatoes that we picked up from Wawa.
Sugar, coconut, no sodium metabisulfate, metabisulfate added, corn syrup, butter, dairy. That is a dairy product.
Yeah, correct.
Binosol 15, tapioca starch, egg whites, max invert sugar, coconut and vanilla flavoring, citric acid, and cinnamon.
Yeah, so this is a lot of coconut, a lot of sugar, a lot of butter, some egg,
And
a little bit of
citric
vanilla,
acid.
and some cinnamon to roll it in. Liz, are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, then let's get to the rules of the game. Junk Feud is a culinary clash to see which treat will be crowned the undisputed champion of snacks. It's a King of the Mountain style battle in which the reigning champ takes on a new challenger each week to see which snack reigns supreme. And Alyssa,
Yeah.
the reigning defending undisputed champion of snacks is
Butterbeer.
Butterbeer. Listen,
Say it with the accent.
Butterbeer. How was that?
So good.
Did I sound like Ollivander?
Butterbeer.
Yeah.
Butterbeer.
Butterbeer absolutely trounced Pink Sauce last week, Liz. It was never particularly close.
Yeah.
Pink Sauce was better than we thought it was going to be, though.
Yeah.
We even had some with our steak for dinner that night.
You had some.
Oh, I had some. Your mom didn't want to try it. She smelled it and said no thank you.
She's like, "Bleh, no.
I don't know. I thought it was good. Anyway, Butterbeer was successful in its second title defense. And Liz, the challenger tonight, Orion's Irish Potatoes, which we picked up from our local Wawa, which
Potatos. Wait, you spelled it wrong. Stop.
No, that's definitely how it's spelled. Anyway, I was very fortunate to get these at Wawa because I didn't want to have to drive all the way down to Philadelphia to bring some back. So good on the local Wawa. And Liz, there are no additional challengers today, but I want to make a note for us here on the tasting. We have to be careful eating these. What are the outsides coated in?
Cinnamon dust.
Yeah, pure cinnamon. Not cinnamon sugar with the added sugar crystals, but just pure cinnamon. Why is this a problem, Lissa?
Because the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah, cinnamon's hydrophobic. Do you know what that means?
It means it doesn't get wet.
It doesn't get wet. It repels water, like it's afraid of it. And why is that important?
Because if you eat it in your mouth with your saliva, you're going to spit it out.
Yeah,
you can't swallow it.
You could inhale a whole lot of cinnamon, which is very bad for your lungs. You should not have small particulate matter in your lungs.
Oh, yeah, I saw someone do that once, and it spilled out of their nose, like they blew it out of their nose.
Oh, that's like chemical warfare. That's bad news.
That's disgusting.
You know what's good news, Liz?
What?
The fact that it is crunch time.
Crunch time.
We rate our snacks using a tier list from sprinkles to fun dip.
S to F.
So snacks can be graded A, B, C, D, or F, with the very best treats earning the elusive S tier ranking. The following contest is scheduled for one serving.
One serving.
And is for the undisputed championship of junk food. Liz.
Yes.
Quick note on coconut, which you do not like.
Yes.
I do not like coconut either. We have had a lot of things in our lives, some things on this show that have coconut as a flavor, including the pink sauce from last week.
Yeah.
I have some allergen concerns with coconut.
Yes.
It is at least related to in the family of some of the things that we're allergic to.
Acapulco.
Acapulco is a place, not a thing that we're allergic to.
Oh.
I have that in the notes because once I was in Acapulco when I was a small boy, and there were these little kids that would climb up the palm trees on the beach with machetes, and they would hack off coconuts and bring them down to you, and you could give them like a few pesos, and you would have a fresh coconut to drink the milk from, and then eat the flesh.
Did any of them fall on your head?
No. Do you know that people die every year from coconuts falling on their head?
Really?
Yeah, it's like a funny thing that happens in cartoons, but in real life, they are heavy and they are dense, and they will absolutely kill you.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty terrible, right?
Yeah.
Do you know a lot of people die from refrigerators falling on top of them each year?
Refrigerators?
Like more than shark attacks, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I might be making this part up, but it's one of those things. Vending machines for sure. Refrigerators probably.
Wow.
Anyway, Liz, the Orion's Irish Potatoes come in a small white box. It's got green lettering on it. In fact, it has shamrocks and a little leprechaun on the front. They say Orion's Original Irish Potatoes. It's a 7-ounce package. There are 15 little tiny Irish potatoes in here. And Liz, they look like small potatoes.
They do.
They do. They're little coconut creams rolled in cinnamon sugar. And in fact,
let's go.
The side of the box even says a coconut cream center rolled in cinnamon.
Open it up.
A Philadelphia tradition for over 100 years. They smell like just straight up cinnamon.
Yeah.
Like you opened the little dollar spice bottle from Walmart or the grocery store, and you were taking the you took the Irish potato from the dead center of the pack and then replaced it with another one. I'm going to take one from, somewhere. So immediately I'm feeling this thing in my fingers, and it's a solid bit of like almost fondant. That's what the coconut cream is like, the solid coconut buttercream.
Oh yeah.
It's a little more dense, a little harder than I recall these being from when I was a kid. So let's try them out. You're making a face. They're very sweet.
Don't like coconut still.
You still don't like coconut. I don't either, but these are not bad. This is overwhelmingly sugary. The vanilla flavor comes through. The coconut doesn't really hit until the back end, I don't think. What do you think?
It hits immediately.
You're getting it immediately? There are little shreds, like little flakes of coconut in here, which for me, because I don't really like coconut, is an unpleasant feeling. But for people that like to eat Mounds or Almond Joy or shredded coconut on top of like a pie or a cake, I imagine this would be nice to eat. These are yielding. They're soft and chewy. They don't seem to be as soft as I remember them, but I could just be misremembering. It's been a long time since I've eaten an Irish potato, honestly.
Tastes like I'm eating like coconut flavored fondant. I'm not really getting much cinnamon.
It's like coconut cake frosting, really, in a small ball. I think the cinnamon is a nice accompaniment, but it really does get lost. It's good for aromatics on the front end. You can smell it when you're taking a bite, but you can't really taste it that much. I will say, as far as a nostalgic tradition, I could have one or two of these every few years, I think. That would be
Yeah.
about my tolerance for Irish potatoes.
Just don't like coconut, but these aren't horrible.
No, I'm happy to have had one. I'm happy to have grown up with this. It's a weird regional thing. Making coconut creams look like little potatoes and then selling them as an Irish thing around St. Patrick's Day is, I don't know, at least entrepreneurial for the people of Philadelphia. But yeah, like I said, super sweet, super chewy, more coconut than I like, but that's because coconut's not my preference. If you like coconut, you will
You would like
probably
those.
love Irish potatoes.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Liz? Let's hit the bliss point. Your rating for Orion's The Seasonal Treat Irish Potatoes from Philadelphia.
C+.
C+. Wow, C+. That's generous from you, I think, considering that this is not your favorite flavor profile.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm always honest, I think, right? That's kind of the way you should be.
Mhm.
Shouldn't have to say, I'm going to be honest. You're making a face. You just spit out a piece of shredded coconut and wiped it on your pants. That's disgusting.
I don't care.
C+ for me, too. Listen, these are slightly above average treats, if only for the nostalgia factor and the novelty of them. I wouldn't go out of my way to eat these. I think there's a reason that they're only offered seasonally. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, you wouldn't want these all the time.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, yeah. C+ for me, C+ for Melissa, which means, Liz,
You're a winner, and
still reigning defending undisputed champion of junk food, it's Butterbeer.
Butterbeer.
Yeah, I don't think there was really any chance that Irish potatoes were going to uncrown or unseat
Told you.
Butterbeer. Butterbeer's good stuff. You, in fact, had a Butterbeer last night.
Yes.
Again. I want to say it was in preparation for this show because you wanted some context, but really I think it's just you wanted one.
Yeah. I couldn't finish it. It was too much.
It was a lot. It was a full Butterbeer. Liz, no new Oreo this week, so there's no Oreo rule to invoke, but in a few weeks, on our Easter episode, Alyssa, we're going to debut a brand new segment in this space, unless there's a new Oreo, which we're going to call Seasonally Appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try some of the latest seasonal treats, and we've got a few things that are peeping over the horizon. That's right, so we'll try them then. Stay tuned for that. Liz, also every week, we ask a very important question. Can you deep fry this week's snack?
No.
No, for the second week in a row, it is no. There are plenty of recipes.
That rhymed. For the second week in a row, it's no.
Very good. That's right. You should bring that up in World Through Words or whatever it is.
I don't even have that anymore. That was like 2 cycles ago.
Oh my goodness, 2 cycles ago. I'm so out of touch.
Yeah, Dad, that was like 60 days ago.
Like I said, Liz, there are lots of recipes for actual fried Irish potatoes, like using real potatoes from Ireland, which are fried, but none for the candy. I can't imagine it would go well. Coconut treats do fry pretty well, though, Alyssa.
Really?
Yeah, coconut shrimp, for example.
Oh.
There's some other things that are like butter or cream cheese based that can be fried as well. Think about the cream cheese wontons you might get at a Chinese buffet. Cinnamon, of course, a spice that takes well to fried applications. Fried ice cream, Liz.
Oh, I've had fried ice cream.
Yeah, churros, apple cider donuts.
Oh, yeah.
All cinnamon treats that are fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irish potatoes, however, too niche, too regional, too odd to be deep fried. So that's a no.
I'm so excited for this.
Are you excited for the next segment?
So excited.
Well, let's get right to it. It's time to check out the Back of the Box, a weekly segment where we play a little game. And Alyssa, we have something unprecedented for the show this week.
Yes.
We have a new segment. We're calling this Mystery Meat.
Like at cafeteria when you don't know what they're actually feeding you, so you just call it mystery meat.
That's right. And the truth is,
That's exactly what's happening right now.
Yes, the truth is I don't know what the mystery meat is because, well, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
A package appeared on my desk at work this week, Alyssa.
Hashtag me.
Just appeared. There was a note taped to the top of it. Liz, can you read this note, please?
It looks like Jim's handwriting.
It does look like a friend of the show, Jim's handwriting, but I can assure you it is not. That's what your mother thought, too.
So it says, Dear Junk Food Pod, please open live on air. Store in a cool, dry place until then.
Yeah, now if this were a thriller film, this would be a booby trap in here that ended both of us,
blow up.
or like a severed head or something like that, but I don't think it is. And I don't think that because this is a large package, Alyssa. It is gift wrapped in Harry Potter wrapping paper. I think perhaps that's an allusion to the undisputed champion of snacks, Butterbeer. What do you think?
Well, no, because this came before our episode came out.
Technically, that's true. Yes. There may have been some spoilage there.
Let's open it.
Yeah. While you're opening it, I will comment on the wrapping paper. It is Hogwarts-styled Harry Potter wrapping paper. It looks to be from around I want to say like the second or maybe the third movie, judging from Daniel Radcliffe's hairstyle as
Judging
Harry
from
Potter.
Hermione.
Hermione has her bangs. Her hair is not as frizzy as it usually is. So
Yeah.
anyway, listen, there are no indications as to what inside. We are just completely winging it right now. I am cautiously optimistic, as I am with most things.
Most
Most
things.
things. Most things. Yeah, I don't know.
Really
I'm a little bit
nervous.
nervous. I don't know what this
Okay.
is going to be.
Ready? Let's see. Is there anything in here?
I don't know. I think
Oh,
the
there is.
envelope was just. Oh no, there's something inside the envelope as well.
Yes. I thought that was
Oh.
just like put somewhere there, you know? Okay. I hear.
Oh no. We said there was no Oreo rule.
Oh, fart.
My goodness. This is a printed notice in Comic Sans font, I should notice.
How do you just know that off the top of your head?
It says, I hereby invoke the Oreo rule, Alyssa.
Okay.
Well, let's see what's inside the box. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Only Amir knows what's in the box, Dad.
Go ahead. Just rip it open.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, God.
Well, let's see.
Oh, my gosh. That's so cool, Dad.
Yeah, what's in the box? Oh, my goodness. Alyssa, can you believe this? Inside this box.
Oh, my gosh. He must be rich.
Well, I'm gonna have to take a photo of this. Inside of this box, ladies and gentlemen, is a custom box
Of junk food Oreos.
from Oreo ID of the Junk Feud logo printed.
Oh, guys, ASMR with Alyssa. Oh, it's not popping. Hold on. Oh, yes.
Wow, this is fantastic. These are Junk Feud Oreos. They look to be coated in white fudge and dipped in nonpareil sprinkles.
Dad,
This is really some fantastic packaging here.
Dad, shh.
And you are popping the bubble wrap that it came with.
Yes. Okay.
I do sometimes forget that you are, in fact, a child. These are quite cool. Go ahead. Let's open them up. I want to try them out live on the air.
Why do you say store cool?
Store in a cool, dry place because they're coated in white fudge, which could melt.
Oh.
Yeah. These are, wow, those are
gosh.
substantial.
Oh, gosh.
These are big Oreos.
We're
These look
gonna
to
get,
be
like,
these look to be double stuffed Oreos. We are going to get nonpareil sprinkles
my
all over the
favorite
place.
Oreos.
Your favorite, the white fudge coated Oreos. And the Junk Feud logo emblazoned.
Dad, I'm going to spill this all over.
Eat over the box, kid.
I want to eat over this. You eat over the box.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's take a bite and see how they are.
Oh, yeah. Double stuff.
You have peeled off the edible logo of the show. These are really fantastic. Not only do they look amazing, and I will say the sprinkles in all their multicolor glory are inherently on brand for this show. They go right
Look.
along with the, oh yeah, you're keeping it. I just bit right through it.
All right, ready?
Like I said, the white fudge covered Oreo, the enrobed Oreo, an excellent, like a top tier Oreo. The addition of the sprinkles on the outside.
I'm going to eat it.
The addition
the
of the
junk
sprinkles on the outside adds a little flavor pop from the sugar, but most importantly, a textural contrast
It's like
to the
paper.
soft cream. Yeah, it's like an edible paper. These are great.
Wait, listen to it rip. I only took one bite of mine. Hold on.
These are so good. Double stuffed Oreos, the inaugural champion. Enrobed Oreos could possibly have taken down the champ had we tried them that day. But enrobed Oreos with multicolored sprinkles on the outside and the Junk Feud logo on
So
the top
good. These are S tier.
are really over the top. You say, wow, you say S tier, Alyssa. I gotta say also, Liz,
What?
S tier for me too.
Yeah.
Now the question becomes, oh my goodness, we are in quite a predicament here.
Goodness, Amir, you're making this so hard for us.
Yeah. Shout out to Amir, friend of the show, who provided these. I wasn't going to say his name in case they turned out to be something that sucked or whatever, but this really, really great. What do you think, bud?
So good.
So good. S tier. Now, like I said, the question is, the Oreo rule has been invoked, which we said in the very first episode could skip the line and take on the champ at any time. Do we think that custom Junk Feud Oreo ID Oreos, Alyssa, are better than butterbeer?
I don't know.
Great answer. It's your job to know. That's what we do. That's
Well,
what
what is your idea
whole show is.
first?
Well, listen. I think we've got a conundrum here. You know that we sort of patterned this show after a program called Doughboys, a podcast about chain restaurants. One of the things that they say on their show, when they are asked if they are ever given free food to review on the show in return for positive ratings, is that the Doughboys can't be bought. Now, that's not an issue for us. We can definitely be bought. If you have sponsorship ideas, please, by all means, hit us up at junkfoodpod@gmail.com. However, Lissa, do you think that if we say that the custom junk food Oreo ID double stuffed enrobed sprinkled Oreos are the undisputed champion of snacks based on this invocation of the Oreo rule, that we would be, I don't know, perverting our ideals?
Find out next on.
What do you think, kiddo?
Don't know.
It's a tough decision when it's your stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm gonna say I don't know. What is your idea?
So if I were to approach this rationally, I would say that we've had double stuffed Oreos and they were at one point the undisputed champion of snacks.
Yeah.
If double stuffed Oreos were going to go up against butter beer, I think there's a good chance that double stuffed Oreos might have won that competition.
That's what I was thinking, but I don't want to get their fans mad.
Now, however, we've also had enrobed Oreos.
Yeah.
And although they are excellent, we didn't think as highly of them as we did the original double stuffed Oreos simply because they're a bit of a variation on a theme. The classic is the double stuffed. The enrobed Oreo is over the top, and meaningfully so, but perhaps in a way that is not as instructive as the original. Does that make sense?
I love.
Yeah, I love them too. They're very, very good.
I'm
You're going in for another one.
No, I'm not going to eat it.
You just want to look at it.
I'm giving them extra points for the detail.
Yeah, like I said, the logo, of course, is
So slay.
so slay, you say. A bit of a narcissistic embellishment for us, which is nice. The sprinkles on the outside, I think, are really an excellent addition.
Dad, these are $50.
I don't know how much they cost, actually. Were you just guessing?
No, remember we looked it up?
Oh, that wasn't Oreos. That was custom sweethearts from Valentine's Day, remember?
Oh, I was going to say, that's like really expensive.
So, Liz, what do you think?
Guess junk food can be bought, because I'm saying yes.
Oh my goodness, you're saying that as of this Oreo rule invocation, junk food Oreos, custom Oreo ID junk food Oreos should be the usurper of butterbeer.
I guess.
Lisa, I have to disagree with you on principle. These are excellent. Like, logo notwithstanding, if someone put some white fudge enrobed Oreos with nonpareil sprinkles on them in rainbow colors in front of me, I would eat them and be very happy about it. For the integrity of the contest, Alyssa, I say that I think butterbeer should retain the championship, narrowly avoiding the run-in from the Oreo ID junk food custom Oreos. Now, we are in disagreement here, aren't we? We have a split decision.
Actually, I say butterbeer.
Whoa! You changed your mind really fast. Are you sure?
Just dumped it all on your lap.
So be honest with me. Were you just saying that you liked these junk food Oreos because they had our logo on them and that they were better than butterbeer for that reason?
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 12-year-old can be bought. But the integrity of the competition cannot.
Whoa, you rhymed again.
I can't believe I'm saying this because the personal effort put into this
I have to go show Mom.
by the friend of the show is really incredible. And we thank you very much for this. It's a wonderful gesture.
Don't worry, Amir. It's a W in my heart.
It's a W in our heart. Listen, wow. What a note to go out on. I feel like the WWE logo popped up in the bottom corner of the broadcast and then someone came out and sneak attacked Sami Zayn on the entrance ramp. This was unseen and unprecedented, and I can't believe it, but an excellent end to this episode. And Alyssa.
What?
Your winner and still champ, reigning defending undisputed champion of snacks, butterbeer.
Butterbeer.
Narrowly avoiding
That was like
the
really
upset.
close.
I have my serious, like the Owen Hart voice on right now for this.
Yeah.
But like I said, an excellent end to this episode. And in fact, this podcast should reach you in excellent condition, satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. If you've got a question for us, you can write to the address on the label. That's junkfoodpod@gmail.com. Liz, any final thoughts?
Nope.
Never. This podcast has contained your recommended daily allowance of fun. For more, go to Twitter, Instagram, or wherever you choose to be social and find us at Junk Food Pod. You can watch fun-sized reviews on YouTube, buy our merch on TeePublic, and don't forget to catch all the snaction each and every week wherever you listen to podcasts. Until we see you again, for Alyssa, I'm Mike.
Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Bye.
Wow.